Fucking guy.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sharp Talk. This is not a normal episode of Sharp Talk. We're missing most of the crew. Steve somehow joined us. We're an hour and 15 minutes late. Alex is not coming. He had handgun combat training that ran a little long, he said.
Is he late or just not coming?
He's totally just whacking it in the bathroom.
He is whacking it in the bathroom. That's exactly what he's doing. Alex, quit beating your meat and come to the chat.
Gerald will also not be here, but we have Steve as usual. Super Steel Steve on YouTube, at Chef Kalari on Instagram. I'm Tom Hosting Outdoors on Instagram and YouTube, and our special guest today is Brian, aka Transparent Knives. You're that same handle on Instagram, right?
Yep. I think there might be an underscore, but honestly, I don't post that much on Instagram, so.
I'll put it down in the description of YouTube and on any other sites that this gets pushed to. So, anyhow, guys, what are you guys carrying today?
What are you carrying today? Guest of honor?
What am I carrying today? I got my...
Guest of honor, dumbass.
Oh, wait,
I'm not
the guest of honor?
No, you're not the guest of honor. I'm talking to the nice guy over here, not the one with no camera. Ooh, what's that?
I got a reground Rowdy.
Whoa.
It's gorgeous.
Did you regrind or you send it out?
I regrind when I'm bored.
I make things laser beams when I'm bored.
So, yeah, this is what I'm carrying. It's really awesome. It's CPM 154 steel, full titanium handles. The cool thing about it is it's a mid-tech, so it originally cost $575. But I got it for $200 because the price dropped like crazy on these.
Damn.
So, yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's just like, I mean...
Who makes those, Brian?
McGinnis.
Okay, cool.
I have no idea who that is, but it's a big, bad-looking knife, I can tell you that. How thin did you grind it? How thick was it, and how thin did you take it?
It was, like, unreasonably thick. I think it was, like, 27 thou.
It's like a battle axe.
Let me measure it real quick, what it is now. I'm in my workshop, so I got calipers.
Thin knives matter, everybody. Thin knives matter.
They do. What we got?
So now you got 11 thou.
There we go. Now we're talking. Now we're going to cut some shit.
Damn laser beams, man.
Now we're at a laser beam. Laser beams.
Yeah, so it's a lot better now. I mean, I cut some apples with it yesterday because I was trying to do some patina experiments. So.
With 154?
No, on 52-100.
The 52-100. I heart 52.
Yeah, I got some wicked. It looks kind of like a shitty Damascus.
I have shit Damascus 5200.
Yeah, I call it a shit Damascus.
Shit. Yes, I like shit Damascus.
That's dope looking.
Is that a patina you put on 5200?
Yep.
It's dope.
So,
he was chasing the really colorful ones, though, the blues and the purples.
Yeah,
you gotta use meat for that. Meat will give you really and strawberries.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
strawberries?
Is like it's really expensive. Like knives are fucking gourmet, dude.
I've had a lot of work knives in 52-100, and I can tell you, hot protein and strawberries will give you blues and purples. If you want pretty colors, don't cut onions. They just turn gray and gross and blah. And they make shit Damascus. That's what they do. I'm going to use that term from now on. Shit Damascus.
Love it. That's what Civivi's using in their knives, right?
Shit Damascus.
Stainless shit Damascus.
We'll see. You know what I mean? I don't know. Apparently, they make it in-house. I was at Blade Show, and I was with Stassa, 23, when he got that McKenna. The little one. I was just called it, right? McKenna?
Yep, the little front flipper.
Yeah. He got it in that Damascus. It was a pretty looking blade, though. I mean, they grind those things so thin it doesn't even matter what they can be like. Right, they can be like HRC 54, but they're like 7 thousandths behind the edge, so it almost doesn't even. You can just push it in the car forward. It wouldn't even make a difference.
I'm super impressed with their Damascus though, because it looks straight up like Damascus steel.
It does. It's a very pretty pattern. Bama Knife Guy just got a backlash in it, And that knife was no joke, 6 thousandths behind the edge.
Who?
Like, no joke. Like,
Damn.
he was worried about the steel, but then he got it, and he's like, he's the same thing I said. He's like, it doesn't even matter. He's like, it's so thin, I can just push it through things, you know? They do nasty grinds on those. For a production company, that's crazy.
That's awesome.
They do stuff like that.
What are you carrying, Steve?
What am I carrying, Steve? Here. Oh, I was carrying this Sabenza, 21 carbon fiber.
What are your thoughts on that?
This is my first time handling one. It's ridiculously light. Like, it's almost too light. Like,
with the carbon fiber scale?
Yeah, it's. I mean, this thing's like a feather. Like, it's yeah. I don't know. I dig it. I like it. But I mean, I'm gonna keep it. But if someone was like, "Yo, you want to swap me this for a regular one?" I would. After owning a 25 for so long, this is definitely a spelter, thinner, less beefy version of the 25 or the Incosa.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely a lot, yeah, but it's nice. I mean, this is like a 2011.
That's an old one, yeah.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's crazy how well these things hold up. Like the chode that traded it to me, he was like, "Oh, it's got late lockup, and it's got like 85% lockup," and I'm like, "Whatever."
Welcome to
So
a Sabenza.
Yeah, right. So I get it here and I take it apart, throw some grease on it. The motherfucker had put Sharpie all over the blade, all over the lock thing. So the second I cleaned it off, now it locks up at like 55. He put all this Sharpie, so the thing was sliding way the fuck over. You know what I mean?
I put Sharpie on the Sabenza of all knives.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the one knife you don't need to fuck with, like at all, is just like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. But other than that, it's great. I've been carrying it. It's a lot thinner behind the edge than my 25 is. Not that it's thin behind the edge.
Thinner.
Thinner.
Yeah.
Thinner. It's like 20,000, so it's not bad. I mean, it's just.
My Incosi is like 25.
Yeah, my 25 was like 25 when I got it, and then after using it and passing it around the country, it's probably up to like 28 by now.
Yeah.
It's dick thick. It's a thick motherfucker. See that knife though? They say it's a very gradual hollow.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, because I've laid a metal ruler across that thing, and there's no gap on one side.
What?
Yeah, one side there's a very slight gap, and then the other side it's just it's a straight flat one. Like I've thought about regrinding that thing so many times. Every time I look at it, I'm like,
I'll have to look at that.
I wonder how much of the belt I could get up against this thing. You know what I mean? Because I don't have a wheel. That's my daughter, sorry.
Speaking of that, do you do hollow grinds, Brian, yet?
Not yet. I'm waiting on. It's taking forever because it's FedEx delivery. I'm waiting on a smaller wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you use a big wheel, you get a higher hollow, and it's way thinner behind the edge. But most production companies do like these small shitty hollows. And like in order to you have to have the right wheel to match the hollow in order to do the regrind. And so I needed to buy this really small 5-inch wheel because that's like the appropriate size to regrind.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
Okay. So you had that for regrinds. Now you're getting one for your own grinds.
Oh no! I'm getting the 5-inch one specifically just for regrinds because I would never do a low hollow myself.
Yeah.
Like I prefer either high hollow or full flat or whatever, but yeah, because I mean, so the knife I'm buying it for specifically is one of the Discord members, Millet Torrent.
Mm-hmm.
Because a previous owner did a crazy bad sharpening job on it, and so he needs it to get kind of fixed. And the Millet Torrent has a very small hollow, so you need a really small wheel. I can actually show you. I have it right here.
I didn't even know the Torrent was hollow ground. I thought it was flat. It was like a saber.
I thought it was saber grind too.
I didn't even know it was hollow.
Huh.
You can see the tip. Or sorry, I'm going to show the tip in a sec.
Whew.
Yeah, he does not like the sharpening job at all. So I'm going to regrind it, make it thinner, and get rid of that. So.
Damn, that bevel out at the tip is pretty bad.
But here's the thing. I don't know who the owner is, but I'm willing to bet he told the guy to put it at 15 degrees per side.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's hard to know.
Yeah, so he took it 15 degrees the whole length. He didn't, you know what I mean? Because I've had guys do that before where they'll send something in, they'll be like, hey, can you resharpen this for me? Or reprofile it, can you make it 15 degrees per side? And you got to tell, and I know this from experience from years ago, when you have a knife, specifically pocket knives, chef knives don't do this because they usually distal taper towards the tip. But a lot of pocket knives will thicken towards the tip. They'll stay thin and they'll thicken up. So, you know, like that guy, you could start with 15 degrees per side, but you're going to get a big, it's going to widen. The bevel's going to widen, yeah. So you got to ask people, like, do you care if it widens or do you want that same size bevel? Because you want the same size bevel, then you have to go from 15 to like 20, 22, depending on the angle, the angle of the dangle.
And the thing is, with a lot of the professional sharpeners or the people who do that, they're working off a system, so they can't do that.
You can't do that with a guided system?
No.
Oh.
So that's something only someone who hand sharpens can do.
Well,
unless you can on an Edge Pro.
You can on the Edge Pro, which is what I have, so that's what I do. Is that in the rare instance where someone asks me for a thicker tip, like they specifically tell me like I want a thick tip, then I'm like, okay, well then I'll have to sharpen in a way that it's going to obviously, in order to keep the bevel the same, it's going to be thicker there because you asked for a thicker tip, right? Like
yeah.
Yeah, but you can't do that on the Edge Pro because you sort of have to like move the knife while you're sharpening. It's weird.
Whoa.
Yeah, on a fixed system like my Wicked Edge, you can't. Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, see, I've never used a guided system, so I'm not familiar with them. So I didn't know you couldn't do that on a on some like a KME or a Wicked Edge.
Yeah, because like if you went to change your angle, then you'd have to work on separate sections of the blade. It'd be weird.
Right, because you're clamped.
Yeah, because it's clamped, and then you have to find your angle that you already previously worked. It'd be a pain in the ass.
Pain in the dick.
Yeah. So Steve, I'm carrying 2 knives today, so I'll give you 2 guesses on what I'm carrying. Hang on. We'll just go by sound. We'll go by sound.
There's another team here. He's almost dead. He's
all right, that's a Mannix.
That's my Benchmade Anthem.
Or not. Hey, I was close though. That ball
here,
an axis. I heard it.
I'm not carrying the Mannix, but here is the Mannix.
See? Come on. Do them side by side.
They're close. They're very close.
That was a good guess.
And I'll give you, here's the second one.
Do you still have that, that sounds like a Shiro or something. That's one of those.
Nope, not a Shiro.
Is it, or that the Spectre?
Nope, I already sent that back.
What is it?
I turned that bitch around quick. I wanted to get that back to him ASAP. That is my ProTech SBR.
Oh, we talked about that today, actually.
I did. I want another one.
Oh, your ProTech, the little one?
I want 2.
It's a cool little knife.
Dude, it's so perfect. It's a little on the small side, but it fits my hand really good.
Well, that's because you got tiny little baby hands.
I do. I got little baby hands. I don't know. Everything about it's just nice. It's visually pleasing. I don't know. I just want another one. And they keep coming out with cool variants of it too. They got Blade HQ's got one right now with OD green handles and like that like tan blade, like the River's Edge Pair 3. That's kind of cool looking.
Again.
Huh?
Don't ever say that word again.
What? River's Edge?
Pair 3?
Oh, yeah.
I've never in my life seen so much hysteria over a goddamn shitty spider claw.
And I had one, Steve, and you know what I sold it for?
Hopefully a fair price.
The exact same price I got it for to BJ.
Good for you. That's what you should have done.
When they were going for $400, I really should have.
You're not a $400 knife.
No, I totally agree. Great knife, though.
It's a cool. Here you go. Here's a pair 3. Here you go. It's not a $400 knife.
Nope. I agree.
Not any day of the week. Oh, look, mine's super drop shutty too.
Yep. So is mine. They always are.
And it's in Rex 45 with an acid and stone wash.
Nice.
No, not $400.
Nope. All right.
No.
You guys have anything new?
He's got
Well, everything I own would probably be new to you, so.
That is true. What
Yeah,
about
if
anything production, Brian?
I know that's what I mean. Like, you want me to bring my collection over?
I mean, like let's say anything you bought like in the last 2 weeks.
In the last 2 weeks, oh man, what did I get? Let me see.
Or your most recent, whichever one. If it's been longer than 2 weeks. I know you said earlier today you're on a knife hiatus.
Yeah, I am. I'm being a good boy.
In the next week.
The most recent ones I got were the Busker, Olympic
Nice.
Busker, and the Sukhoi 3.0 from CKF.
Nice. What do you think about both those?
I'll start with the Sukhoi 3.0 because I only have good things to say about it for the most part. Like build, fit, and finish, everything is pretty much perfect. There's literally nothing wrong with that knife except for the fact that it has the what's it called? The lock bar of death. Where like if you're squeezing the lock bar, you can't deploy it.
Yep.
That's the only problem with that knife. Everything else is perfect. Action perfect. Like it's just really smooth closing. Like easy to deploy. Ergonomics are great, and like beautiful handle. Have the milled like bronze with the marble CF. But man, that lock bar of death is just the only thing. And then the Busker is kind of interesting because it's very thick behind the edge. Actually, it's like 23 thou. And for such a small knife too, plus it's not full flat or anything, so it's like a saber, so it's kind of not the best cutter. Honestly, I only keep it in my collection because it's really cute, and like it's kind of like my don't want to threaten anyone carry.
Right.
That's what it's.
What do you think about the Busker? That's always one I've had my eye on. I really do like the looks of those.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. The Busker is the one that's thick.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, the Sukhoi is great for everything except the lock bar of death. The Sukhoi is like I think 15 thou.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but the Busker is so small and the grind isn't very high, and it's 23 thou. So it's like, and then there's the fact that like instead of a finger choil, it has that like straight portion where you put your index finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works, but it's not the most comfortable thing. Like it's fine though, because I don't envision using the Busker for like long cutting tasks, right? That's not what it's designed for. It's more of like a pull it out if you really need to and you don't want to threaten someone and just cut something real quick. Yep. So it works, but yeah, it's not the best.
Front flip it in front of them, intimidate them, and then put it back in your pocket.
Yeah. Well, you front flip it and they're like, whoa, but then they look at the blade and they're like, oh, that's not scary.
Yeah. That's what I want to get a Olamic, but I'm scared that they're all thick behind the edge.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, the great fit and finish, but that grind thickness though.
Yeah. I know somebody who can fix that though.
I might regrind mine actually, because here's the reason why I was working on acid stonewashing is specifically so that because mine is acid stonewashed Busker with a rock pattern on the scale, so to match. I didn't want to regrind it because then it would be satin on the blade and it wouldn't match the handle. But now I can satin the blade and then acid etch it and then stonewash it, and then it's like back to normal but just thinner. So.
Yeah, that would look badass.
That's what I'm gonna do soon, probably.
Steve, you got the Sebenza new, right?
Yep. Pretty good guy.
Only thing that you've gotten recently?
I think so. Well, no. I mean, I was actually no. I was gifted this for the channel and for myself.
Oh, what's that?
Ziba.
Oh, nice.
Gentleman who lives in Croatia by the name of, he goes by BJ Knives on Instagram. Big old gigantic shout out to him. He hit me up and was like, hey, I want to send you a knife. And I'm like, cool, because people want to send me knives to test all the time. And then he's like, I want you to keep it. And I was like, you sure? That's really nice of you. And then I have no idea about these knives. And then I looked up these knives.
Yeah.
I thought there was like a production version.
No, that's a custom, isn't it?
Or I don't know. I mean, these are $400 knives.
Yeah.
Which I had no idea. So now it was just like ultra thank you because I had no idea that he was sending this. So big, huge thank you and shout out to BJ Knives. on Instagram. He's a super, super, super fucking nice guy. We chatted on the video chat a few times. He's a super nice guy, but I can't thank him enough for just randomly deciding to send me a knife. The reason specifically is because he actually wanted to test it because this is a limited edition, and it's in AEBL.
Ooh, cool.
And it says 61 HRC on the blade.
Damn.
So he kind of shouted it out that he got it there. So we'll find out. I've got some 14T28N and stuff that's kind of like it that I can test it against, and we'll see what it does. It's a front flipper, right? But there's no pocket clip.
What?
Yeah, there's no pocket clip on this knife.
That's strange.
It is. I've never seen it because it's a normal. All right, so here we go up against a Savenza. It's a normal size. It's almost. I mean, it's a little smaller than a Savenza, but
yeah,
it's a full size knife. There's no pocket clip.
That's crazy. That would be weird because it doesn't give you anything to hang on to.
No, yeah. So it's like I've had like one front flipper that like Kenny sent to me, a Metamorph, which I'm actually going to test against that. I think it's in 14C28N.
Oh, cool.
But if there's nothing for my fingers, it's so like hard for me to get this thing open.
Usually rest your finger on that pocket clip. So
yep.
Yeah, you pinch it like here and then turn. But since there's nothing, it just kind of tucks in my hand like that, and I really got to like wrist it and kind of let it fly out, and it's got like this harpoon blade, so it's super like shanky looking, which is great. But I live in Georgia, so nobody gives a shit. I'll bust this bitch out at a Kroger, like I'm gonna do something important.
Ken Dog says in England we shank people for fun.
Yeah. That's what I do. Be a great though. Yeah, super great shank. Yeah, I think it's carbon fiber handles. It's got one liner. It's a cool knife.
I got 2 new knives. One I guess technically isn't new, but it's back. And I didn't mention it last episode. It's my Manix 2 Smooth G10 Crewwear that I got.
Where did it go?
It went to Parsons Blade Works, and
why?
Because Spyderco wanted to put as much blue Loctite on the pivot screw as they possibly could, and I couldn't get it open. I could get one side open, I couldn't get the other side open, and the D-shaped pivot wasn't lined up to the D-shaped hole in the liner. And the way that they put it back together is they just kind of shoved the liner down as hard as they could onto the D-shaped pivot, so it kind of like messed up the liner. So I had to take a small diamond file to the liner, fix it, and then Will somehow got the Loctite off of there and fixed everything for me. It's perfectly centered. It's smoother than when I sent it to him, so I'm not sure what he did to it. But this Manix is perfection.
You, Will, from Parsons Blade Works, Tom owes you a blowjee for all that work that you did for him.
I do. You
owe him like a slow, sloppy blowjee, like a really nice, like time-consuming, intimate work. The fact that he took that knife and got it apart since you got frustrated and almost sold it. So wait, can I buy it for $100 now?
No. This one's gonna be mine now.
Well, you were selling it though.
Yeah,
for $100.
That was a different moment, Steve. So he's such a good dude. He even paid for shipping on the way back. So he literally paid $7 to fix my knife. So I sent him a sticker and one of my coasters with the knife.
Along with the you get one free blowjee ticket, right?
Yeah, I need to mail him one of those too.
Yes, you do.
Oh, you know what? I actually did get a sort of new knife. I've already had it for a long time, but I sort of destroyed it, and then I got a reblade. So, the Bishop, Wee Bishop.
That's badass. How'd you destroy it?
Hang on, do you still have the blade?
Oh, yeah, yes, I do. You want to see it? Yeah,
hang on. Before you show it, I saw this blade devolve over a period of about an hour and a half from the full blade to this.
All right. Here's the unveiling. It even has a sheath.
What the hell happened?
He just kept grinding it and grinding it.
It even has a little sheath. Look at this.
Was there a lot of alcohol involved in this, or what happened?
No, I'm literally insane. So
He just
You're like, grind
it's
it down to see what happens.
it's funny because
No,
it started as like a full blade and it like evolved into like 3 blade shapes and then the final blade shape was that.
here's the story. Okay, so I wanted to regrind this because I didn't like how thick it was, and I wanted a contrast. I wanted the satin here and then the acid stone wash on the everywhere else. So I did a normal regrind and it was fine. Got it to about 10 thou. Then I'm walking my dogs and they see a squirrel, and I'm kind of a maniac, so I walk around flipping my knife while I'm walking my dogs like a normal human being. So I'm walking around and they dash, both of them dash for the squirrel at the same time, jerks me along, so I drop the bishop edge first on concrete, like the curb.
Yeah.
And there's a crack. Right? There's a crack at the heel. Like not a chip or a roll, but
it cracked.
yeah, it cracked. Like it hit hard too. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's really fragile. Like it hit. It's hard as. It's almost like I threw it at the concrete.
You spiked it with a football. You're like, fuck.
Yeah. So right. So it hits the concrete and there's a crack, and I'm like, okay, well, I need to grind the crack back, right? So I grind the crack back, and it's whatever. It's like a recurve now because I got rid of where the crack was. And then I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, I'm not that happy with how it is anymore. So then like someone on the Discord makes a suggestion. He's like, why don't you make it a Tanto? And I was like, fuck, I don't even care anymore. So I make it a Tanto, and I look and it's hideous because it's the Tanto with the recurve. And then I send an email to We Knives. I'm like, can you give me a new blade? And they're like, oh yeah, for sure. It's just $80. And I was like, wait, $80 for a new blade? Sure, whatever. So I buy a new blade, and I'm like, it's going to come in 2 weeks, so what do I do with this old blade? So then I did what you saw, and I created the little beak.
So does it still flip? I can't remember.
It did still flip when this was in it.
That's so awesome.
So this sheath, right, it came with the reblade.
And it fits.
Yeah, it fits perfectly. Exactly the size of my blade.
Yo, shout outs to We Knives for just sending you a fucking blade for $80.
That's pretty cool.
Huh?
And a sheath for my little monster.
What up?
Alex is here.
Oh, wait. Is he here?
What up?
Yeah, I can't see him yet.
Alex, where you at, bitch?
There he is.
Fucking gun training. Yo, you gotta check out Buddy's new he just reground a knife. He's gonna regrind one of mine.
Oh man, all right. Here, where is that?
Show him the original or the full blade.
So here's the original. The bishop.
Okay. Now regrind.
Now, Alex, I know you don't like Chinese knives, so I did you a favor here, and it turned it into this.
Nice. That's nice.
Like,
what do you cut with that, man?
Tape.
the box, bro.
People's souls.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Alex, what the fuck do you need gun training for? You're a Marine.
I know. I was a top student. They actually had to handicap me against other guys and have me shoot one-handed. It was pretty cool.
He shot with his feet.
It's like Michael
We're
Jordan
like,
trying to pick up a game of basketball at the local park. It's not even fair.
It was fun,
You're a
man.
jerk.
So
Shooting with rigs, doing room clearing, all that stuff. It was cool.
that'd be fun.
Yeah, it was real fun.
So I do have
So
one
I'm
more.
gonna be walking around a lot because I'm watching this one.
All right, you're good, man. I do have one more new knife. And that was Brian's dwarf that he sent me in LC200N to test with the most insane geometry on any knife I've ever handled.
Really? Did you just see what Brian had?
Well, I don't know, man. As far as cutting geometry, that thing, I don't know about geometry for that one. That's crazy as far as just overall shape. But we're getting this one tested. I've already edge retention tested it twice. I got results less than 2 feet or 2% different. For LC200N, it cut to like 280 feet and then 286 feet or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's 0.07 inch blade stock, 9 thousandths behind the edge at 13 degrees per side. It's wicked. It's a cardboard cutting laser beam.
It looks really cool.
It's badass, and it's a lot more comfortable than it looks. I swear.
Well, we wouldn't know, Tom, because we can't fucking see it.
I know my camera's broke.
Again?
Yeah, I need to get a webcam.
You guys want to hear a funny story from me at the gun range today?
Let's hear it. Did you whip out like one of your nice custom knives and they confiscated it from you because you were too dangerous? Too operator for them?
Even better than that. So the guy who owns the class, the instructors, like the top guy, had a Spyderco in his pocket, and I recognized it was an Endura. And then so I asked him, I'm like, hey man, is that a Spyderco Endura in your pocket? You know, I'm thinking to myself, fucking newbie. And then he pulls it out and it had an Emerson Wave, and he had it in the reverse grip, like kind of held it up to me like he was gonna slit my throat.
Oh.
Like it's that fast. And then one of the other instructors tells him, put that away. And you know, like don't do that right now. He's like, oh, I was gonna kill him. I'm like, what the fuck? That guy is way too operator for me, man.
I was gonna say, did you tell him he was operator for that?
You know what? I just wanted to be the quiet student in the back of the class and just behave.
Did he have any idea of your military training, sir?
He did not.
I figured as much, yeah. Did he have lots of tattoos and an Affliction t-shirt?
No, I pulled out my Medford Slim Midi. I'm like, that's not a knife. That's a knife.
So, do you remember when we looked up a picture of Steve Tirani?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I remember. Anytime we have any sort of like tactical instructor, I think of Steve Tirani. For that reason.
Dude. That guy looks tactical.
He does.
He's hyper. He's tactical as fuck.
And he's just jacked.
And then I noticed some of the other instructors had that same thing. They all were rocking a waved Endura. I was like, fucking newbies. They did know how to shoot though. It was pretty. They were all very good shooters, but they don't know shit about knives.
The guys can shoot the ball sack off a gnat from 100 yards away, but he's worried about pulling out his Endura fast enough to stab someone.
Yeah.
Sure.
I know. Well, I had a locked and loaded, fully Glock 17 with 3 magazines on my side.
I think you win.
Yeah. No, I think that guy would have killed me.
I'll bet you $100 if I fucking shot on one of those guys and double-legged him and took him to the ground, they wouldn't reach for that knife. They wouldn't even remember the knife was in their pocket.
Oh, no.
They'd be trying to punch me in the face right before they fucking reach for a knife.
But why is it that gun guys, like, they always, like, they're like the Walmart knife carriers. Like, they don't really, like, like, there's not, like, a lot of gun guys that have, like, a nice pocket knife. Like, when I go to the gun range, the regular range, to shoot steel, they all either have Spydercos or Benchmates.
Let me explain this to you, Alex. So
yeah, you work at a store.
I work at a gun shop that sells knives. Every person who's a gun guy and looks at knives like that, like $200 for a knife, I could buy a gun for that almost. Or you get those guys that actually do want to spend that, but they're gun guys and they don't think about buying a knife until they're in a gun shop, and those are the high-end brands that are carried at that gun shop. So.
But it's weird though, because those guys are willing to spend like I just bought a Springfield 1911, right? That was like $12.50 after taxes, and then like how
shout out California.
Yes. And how can somebody just spend all that on the gun and then not want to buy themselves a nice pocket knife is beyond me.
I don't understand it either.
Well, the weird thing is that they have more than one gun, right? It's not like, oh, this is the only gun I can buy and I need to put all my money into it. Like, usually you have a collection of guns, and it's like, one of those guns could have been a nice knife.
Exactly.
Right.
Gun guys will literally spend $1,500 to $2,000 for an optic on an AR-15, a close-range rifle, and they'll carry Kershaw Blur.
Yep. No.
I know.
Every time they'll have $300 worth of magazines and ammo on their person, but they'll carry a fucking a Kershaw leak.
Yeah,
It's so funny because
Smith and
we got this one gun guy who comes in, and he's super cool, but he's the exception to the rule here. He carries a Grayman Seitu.
whoa,
Oh,
Have you
that's
ever
nice.
seen them things? They're freaking huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, personally, yeah.
The scales alone are a 1/4 inch thick on either side. It's just a beast of a knife, and every time he's like, "Can I see that Benchmade Adonis?" I'm like, "Dude, do you just like knives that like are impossible to carry?"
he's a man, bro.
He is a big dude though.
Yeah. Well, I don't, I mean, so I'm all for it. Like, I've carried big knives to work in my pocket and stuff, and that's cool if that's your thing, But, I mean, so, like, if I go to the office and I'm carrying this 4.5-inch knife, like, it doesn't make sense for me, because I'm never going to have a need at work to cut something that big or that bulky. If I don't carry it, it's only just for the fun of it.
Right.
But then, if there's not a whole bunch of knife guys around, then it's not even really that fun to carry because I can't pull it out because I'll scare everyone.
Yeah,
So
that's literally why.
That's where the small knives are fun, because I can not only carry that, but I can flick it around and nobody gets scared because they think I have like a nail cutter in my hand.
So the Mass Marauder has arrived.
There he is.
The Masked Marauder.
Oh, there he is. What's up, G?
Not a whole lot, man. Nobody, well, I didn't tell anybody to wake me up. I didn't expect to fall asleep either.
I didn't even, so I thought I was the one that was going to be a no-show today because I had a class that I had to go to. But I made it before you.
What class you chose to go to? You didn't have to go to it, operator.
Well, I paid for it, so I had to go.
That's true. So this is pretty much turned into a normal podcast with Brian as our guest.
Yep.
What's up, Brian?
Hey.
So I don't know if we should unveil the whole project, Brian. I know Steve and Gerald know, but I feel like the podcast is a good place to unveil it.
Sure.
Before you guys get into that, I don't know Brian. I've never met Brian.
So Brian is a custom knife maker, transparent knives. He makes that little fixed blade I sent you guys pictures of the other day, the one in LC200N that I've been cut testing.
Oh yeah.
So
Very cool.
Let's get a little bit of background on you, Brian. I know that we were going to before we had technical difficulties and nobody could hear you.
That's true.
So when did you get started and how'd you get started?
So basically, how I got started is I had this really huge knife collection. I had about 60 knives, all what I would consider to be like high end at the time, like $200 or more.
Mm-hmm.
And I sold all of them except one. So that's how I got started. I got
important question.
Yeah.
Which one did you keep?
I kept Andre Thorburn L36S.
Very nice.
Nice.
Yeah, but everything else I sold, and I used half of that money, I used that money to fund half of my workshop. So I just started buying a bunch of equipment, like browsing Craigslist, whatever. And I got everything drill press, bandsaw, whatever. And my mom fronted me the cost for the belt grinder, which was like the biggest expense. It's like half of my workshop cost. So that's how I got started. Well, I guess I should explain how I got into knives, which is basically just a friend showed me a Benchmade Griptilian, and I was like, oh, neat. So nothing crazy there. But I just saw that. I was on break from college, medical leave. And so while I was here, I was just like, well, I'm going to do something I like. So I bought all the stuff. And I guess it's kind of a big impulse thing to start. But I honestly just started buying everything, spending thousands of dollars, and I just bought all the stuff. And I was like, well, now I'm committed because I have all this shit I can't get rid of. Like, I live in the suburbs of California, by the way, so no one's going to buy a bandsaw from me if I try to sell it. Like, so
Where
I'm
do
kind
you live in California?
I live in the valley, San Fernando Valley.
Oh, shit. You're driving distance from me.
Really? Wait.
I actually used to live in San Fernando myself.
Oh, where are you now?
I'm in Long Beach area.
Oh, yeah, you are driving. So yeah, you are really close. Well, you should have come to the meetup.
Yeah.
He was not on Reddit though. Are you, Alex?
No, I'm not on Reddit.
Okay.
Because they had a whole meetup. What was it, last week?
Yeah, it was last week. But yeah, that's how I got started. So nothing crazy. I just, very impulsive, and I just kind of commit though once I do something impulsive. So yeah.
When did you start? Did you say that?
Yes, I started this May 1st.
And you're already making some killer shit.
But I definitely have the advantage of a lot of knife makers work part-time jobs, so they don't have a lot of time to just play around and experiment. Whereas me, I'm not doing anything, so I spend all day in the workshop. Like that's around 14 hours a day, just doing whatever I want, testing stuff out. So I think I had the opportunity to practice and learn a lot more quickly, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Yeah,
Yeah, I also think I accelerated a little bit because destroying stuff is the fastest way to learn, in my opinion. So instead of being careful with your grinds and being oh, I don't want to burn it, you should burn it on purpose and see what does it take to burn a knife. Oh, that's what I shouldn't do anymore, and then you learn to not do it anymore.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, so that's how I learned. Is I just destroyed everything until I realized, okay, now I know what not to do, and then I went from there.
Like testing the limits of your process and your material.
Exactly.
So what are you gonna learn?
So I think we're gonna kind of unveil it here before I unveil it on my YouTube. We've been talking to Brian. I know that Gerald and Steve and any of the other guys who have tested have had the same comments on it makes no sense to test these knives against each other. They're completely different geometries. You don't know how they compare, that kind of thing. What we're doing with Brian is we're having him create a set of test knives for us at the exact same geometries and everything, in whatever steel. I think you could probably pretty much get anything, right, Brian?
Anything that any other person can buy, pretty much. Yeah, if it's on the internet, then you just buy it.
Yep. So, and anything at pretty much whatever hardness we desire. So we'll have a full set of cool testing knives that are same geometry, so people can't dispute what we're doing anymore. And the cool thing is, maybe down the road, we could have the same knife and the same steel, but at different hardnesses, maybe 1 point apart or 2 points apart, so you can see what those hardnesses really, how much
Equate.
Yeah, exactly. How M390 at 64 is different than at 60. So,
honestly, I like that, all the testing you guys do and everything. I'm just so tired of all the people that keep arguing it. It's so annoying.
I know.
It's dude, don't you have anything better to do? If you don't want to listen, then don't.
But Alex,
go somewhere else. Go on a different YouTube
Welcome
channel.
to my hell, Alex.
Alex, don't you know Knife Man yells at other Knife Man?
Yes, that's my favorite.
So I'm super excited for that. Obviously, none of us are going to be able to front that cost by ourselves, so there will be a crowdfunding thing for that for anyone who wants to donate. The way I thought of it is, for our first initial batch, I think we had 7 knives and 7 different steels, and through Brian, they'd be roughly $100 to $125 a piece or so. So I mean, if you get a certain amount of people to donate $5 or $10 here or there, it really doesn't take that much to get there. Obviously, we'll throw in some of our own money. I'm assuming you guys are. I know I'm throwing some money at it. But it'll basically be a set of test knives that we can pass throughout the community for people to test between myself, Gerald, Steve, and whoever else tests it. It'll be cool at that point to see how close our results all are too.
Doesn't matter.
What'd you say?
HMC doesn't matter.
Exactly. So, Brian, we're going to need you to have these all heat treated at 48 Rockwell specifically. Everyone.
Do you heat treat your own knives?
No, I have the Jeff from True Grit. He treat them, so.
Right.
Yeah. He has
a
tester, but I do think that just as a measure of extra precaution, we should probably have Kurt or someone also do a second independent test.
Definitely.
Verify they are that HRC. Because naturally, like, you know, you want to just trust your heat treater, but it's also like, this is like standard practice for me is anytime I get a batch of knives from heat treat, I take a couple and I use them as like sample knives and I test them. And this time I had Tom test my knife and I sent one to someone else as well. So he's testing the LC200N, but generally speaking, like, you know, just as like an extra level of quality control, I want to make sure that it actually is what it's supposed to be. Just because I didn't do the heat treat myself, I have no idea, you know, what the process, what it went through. So I got to be sure to some extent.
I want a Vanex 37.
Well, Vanex 37 isn't a thing anymore. It's Vanex Super Clean. We just talked about this before the podcast started, and Brian makes knives in Vanex, so...
Vanex is the Tata stuff.
It's like LC200N on steroids, right?
Yep. It's really cool. So
Basic.
I do want to finish that one and test it.
I'm excited. I'm very excited for all of this. And when this goes up on YouTube, you guys can comment down there if you guys would be interested in helping fund that. I've looked into like Kickstarter and any of the other crowdfunding sites, and they'll take like a flat 5 or 10% fee out of that, which I think is shit. If you're raising $700 for these knives and $70 gets taken out of that, I think we're just going to do what happened with Kurt. We're just going to set up a PayPal and have all the money sent to a PayPal so nothing gets taken out of it.
Speaking of which, Kurt's machine just got calibrated for anyone that doesn't.
I know. This little fixed blade is going to him. I'm sending it out tomorrow to him. He said he'll have it tested and back to me around the end of the week, and we'll see what this LC200N really comes in at.
Yeah, well, what's cool about Kurt, too, is he not only has the machines at his workplace, the double test, now he has a certified AXPM Wilson at his house.
Yes.
He can actually cook them twice if he wanted to, with 2 separate machines.
Yep.
Which is pretty fucking...
Did we talk about the Apostle P?
Apostle Penis?
Yeah.
As Max keeps calling him?
Fuck
Yes.
Apostle P. I got
That
something.
was interesting, right?
I got something for him. Guy decides to make a video, come out the fucking shadows after showing a knife in however long it's been a year. Wants to start talking about his 40-year-old knowledge, apparently, you know, his education in the world of Rockwell testing. That he 1,200 tests a day he did without any mistakes. The guy was a genius.
Yeah, you know, it's sad. I when I first got into like the knife world, like many years ago, I used to watch that guy's videos.
Me too.
And you know, I thought he was okay. You know, I'm like, oh, he's a Christian like me. You know, all this stuff. That's cool. I like his whole facade. And the more and more I started to get to know him over the years, I heard a lot of shit. One thing I heard is that he's really not that great at sharpening like he says he is.
Yep.
I know actually a couple people on Facebook groups that said that he actually destroyed their knives. You know, and for him to come along and just make all these claims, which he says he's an expert, but then he didn't even come out with a good argument. It was just like, well, I'm not going to say anything about it.
Yeah.
You know,
listen,
if you're an expert, why don't you say something?
If you can't figure out how to sharpen something as simple as Maximet, you sure as hell cannot Rockwell test knives.
Right.
I'm just over the whole people trying to mystify the Rockwell testing process and to make everything seem so much more complicated than it is. The guy, okay, he made a comment about what Kurt said. Kurt had made a comment, posted up. He's like, look, any 15-year-old with 30 minutes, I could teach him how to run this machine, right? Because it's by nature, a Rockwell tester is meant to be simple, right? The machine's meant to do the work. It's you got to follow a few little protocols. The idea is so you can have one of these in your facility and you can readily test whatever products you need, right?
Yep.
That's the whole point. He then two sentences later turns around and talks about the summer of his senior high school year. He went to work in a facility where he was doing 1,200 Rockwell tests a day.
Where he was 17 or 18 years old.
Yeah, so he was 18. First, he called bullshit on what Kurt said, and then literally turned around and said he was 17 or 18 years old and running 1,200 tests a day. So
I definitely thought the biggest stretch though was when he talked about his Benchmade bug out and like where you would need to test it. And so he said, I can't test it on the flats because what if they untempered the flats and made it soft just at that exact spot? You know, I was like, what the fuck does that? Sorry, I don't mean, but like that just.
I didn't even get into that. Exactly. What if they untemp? What he's trying to do, he's trying to throw shade because like GEC says what they do is they'll temper down the tang so it doesn't prematurely wear the spring, which I don't know if they do or they don't, but their knives are baby shit soft anyway. They're 1090 soft as shit anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. Benchmade isn't grabbing a bug out and differentially heat treating the tang so the lock bar doesn't. That's the biggest crock of shit.
Well, you know, he made a comment too about how, like, you know, when they tried, because you know how Kurt went to that other heat treat place, I think Peter's, right?
Yes.
And then when he went to Peter's, he tried to say that it got disproven, you know, that his Rockwell testing is accurate. I'm like, but that's not at all what I heard.
No, that's not at all what happened. One came up as a false result, and everything else got like proven correctly.
Yeah, he brought.
I thought like 2 out of 3 were almost like exactly the same. The other one was like just a point off or something, right?
Yeah, exactly what happened. There was a line steel, was a dump. Okay, that line steel got tested by Kurt 6 different times. Okay, over a course of I want to say 3 weeks. Okay, so he had tested it, sent it back to LTK, tested other knives in between. One of which I'm almost positive was the TRE that he brought to Peter's heat treat, okay, which came back identical, right?
Yep.
So then he went back, he tested it again. Then it went over to Peter's and got tested. In the time that knife was tested, I want to say 9 or 10 times, and got somewhere in the ballpark of 7 different results between the two testers. The knife was fucked. I don't know what's wrong with the knife. I think G tested it and it came up. I don't even know. It didn't even cut.
I can tell you later exactly how many times it was tested because I have it.
So I had a theory about why that happened, and I'm not gonna like stand behind it. I'm just gonna say this is a possible thing that could explain it. So I was talking to Tom about how on LC200N, that's supposedly 63 or whatever. I put on gloves, like really thick gloves, and I pressed it into the grinder, deliberately trying to ruin the heat treat. Okay? And what happened is that it doesn't heat the same amount everywhere on the blade. Some areas are thinner than others, etc. And so what happened is once I do my typical toughness test, which is kind of barbarian, where I get a bolt and I try to hammer it through a bolt. Okay. And I know it's not supposed to be able to do that. It's just like I do it all the time though, so that it's like I get the same results. And what happened is that throughout the edge at different places, it was distempered by different amounts. Like some places I would hammer, the bolt would literally run through the blade, and other places the bolt wouldn't even go through the blade at all. It would just roll the edge a little bit. And so it's possible that different areas, depending on where you're testing, right? Because obviously you have to test a different spot. You can't test the same spot over and over. Mm-hmm. It's possible that those different spots all have actually do have different HRCs, even though they're relatively close to each other. So that's one explanation.
Another knife maker, Roman, K-Knives, Switzerland, said the exact same thing. He's a big pusher of how grinding can ruin the heat treat on a knife, and he said exactly what you said. And that was kind of the theory that we were all thinking about is like you said, it could be relatively close, but the heat could have ruined a multitude of
Right, because I mean, I don't know if it's still in my trash can, but like the blade, like literally like less than like an inch apart. One area I could not get the bolt to go through the blade. The other area, it was literally like destroying the blade and just going through it. So
I always thought that heat treat is like going to be different in different parts of the knife, anyways, because of the thickness of the steel itself, right? Because it's going to cook everything.
Although those are usually more minor variations, just because like the way that they heat it, they try to get it even anyway. Right. But definitely when you're doing grinding heat, like that's completely just going to be different in different areas.
Right.
So,
You can totally burn it in different spots and different. Like he just said, you had less than an inch apart, and he ran a bolt through the middle of the blade. The other one went right through. That's pretty fucking dramatic. Like that's.
If that doesn't tell you that grinding or improper grinding can play a huge difference, I don't know what does.
yeah, let me see if I can actually find it in the trash. Hold up.
Fucking broken blade. I like Brian. He's got broken blades everywhere. It's great.
Max says you have a test blade at 61 and RWL 34 that he sent you.
Oh, is that what this is? RWL 34?
That's what he said. Yeah.
I meant to ask him which one this was. Yeah, this is from Roman too. He sent this to me. With Max put a nasty edge on this thing.
I see some of the edges that Max is putting on some knives, and I am very, very impressed.
He did that. He did that edge on the Caswell design. That CRK, the morphine karambit.
Yeah.
You guys see that edge?
That
was a nice edge.
I found it. You guys are about to see a serrated knife. So you can see here.
Holy shit.
So if you see right here, there's like no deformation right here, right? And I hit this area harder than I hit here. Like I put all my force into hitting this area here, and there's just this small dimple. Whereas just less than an inch apart right here, you literally see the blade got destroyed. Like there's literally nothing here.
And is that where you put a lot of heat from grinding to try to see what it would do?
Put the most heat forward here, because this is where I start the grind. Is you start here and then you move toward the tip, so you grind. So it gets softer as you get toward where I started the grind, and it gets harder the farther away, right? So at the very farthest point, this is what it feels like. Where at this geometry, you should see an edge deformation, but not like the edge literally disappearing and getting destroyed.
Look at that.
So that's what I suspect is the cause of the different results. It's just that their grinding was so extraordinarily bad that like it just completely like ruined the temper.
That's awesome. That's so cool to see.
Yeah, given what I've like heard and like seen, like that's the most logical explanation for what happened. Just because I think companies don't respect the degree to which grinding destroys you. Like I think they just don't respect it. So.
Yep, definitely.
So could we assume that knives with thicker blade stock have a higher risk of getting soft because of the amount of grinding that they do and how much they heat up the blade?
No, it would depend because so like that's a possibility if they're not wetting it at all. Usually when they try to go thin, that's when they mess up, because when you're going thin, you have to cool it down way longer. You have to be way more like you can't just dip it in water. You have to put it in water. You have to swirl it around. You have to wait, right? You can't just put it back to the grinder. And that's the mistake that people usually make, because once you dip it, it's going to be cool enough that your hand can hold it. So you think, oh, it's fine, right? If I can hold it with bare hands, it should be fine. But it's still hot enough in the core that as soon as you press it back to the grinder, it's going to jump back to that temperature really quickly. And that's when you ruin your heat treat and possibly burn your fingers. So and the thing is, companies, they're using machines a lot of the time. So machines don't feel that heat. They don't get burned. So they're just like, whatever, and they keep pressing it in. And then it's just you ruin your heat treat. So
I told Brian earlier that we have an infidel at the shop. That's in D2, I believe. And out at the tip where it gets real thin is just brown, like brownish black, where they just burn it at the tip.
Yeah,
because you got to think about it like he was just saying. So the thinner your cross section is, the quicker it's going to heat up. There's less material to heat up. So when they get thinner, then you have more of a chance, like he said, for not only for it to build up heat, but for it to retain heat. Like he said, they can't just sit there and dunk it in water. It's got to be it's got to completely cool, and you can't even let it get. It's going to reach tempering temperature quicker on a thinner blade than it is a thicker blade, because there's less material for it to conduct through.
What I don't understand is why these companies don't water cool their belts. It can't be. If Roman can do it, it can't be that expensive.
One guy. It says they're not. He's not making 1,000 knives a day. You know what I mean? It's a lot of water. It's a whole system. You know what I mean? Pumping it, recycling it, cleaning it. There's a here's the thing. I think at least in the States, the concept of how bad heat through grinding can ruin a temper is actually kind of not new, but it's not really talked about a lot. And like Brian was just saying, companies don't realize what they're doing. So in order for them, they would have to revamp. They would have to invest tons of money into revamping their grinding process to put water coolant systems and keeping their belts cool and all that. And that's a lot of money. And guys,
also time. The reason why titanium costs so much is because it forces you to slow down, right? Because if you go too fast, it'll gum up and it'll ruin your bits, right? It'll ruin your milling bits. But the thing about grinding is nothing forces you to slow down if you're using a machine, right? So because you can just force it to become the shape that you want it to be with the force of a machine. And so because there's nothing forcing you to slow down, you're saving a lot of money in terms of time. But now if you actually want a proper grind and a proper heat treat to, not get ruined, you have to go slow, right? It's not just the water. You also have to stop and let it cool down. Like that takes time. And all that time builds up when you're making thousands of knives, and that's a lot of money. So I think that's why if companies, if they do know that, they just don't care maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Uh-oh, Steve left. I'm scared. That's a lot of cardboard strips that he's got sitting behind his camera too.
Yes.
How do you guys I guess Gerald, you're the only one left here. Well, now that Steve's back, how do you guys dispose of your cardboard? Do you put it in a garbage bag? Do you put it in a big box?
Dude, I have a 30-something, 40-gallon trash can at work, and right now I got to empty it tomorrow. It's full. And I do it different than you guys. I cut 8 1/4 inch tall strips.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's probably, I can't even say, there's probably like 25, 30 knives worth of cardboard in that one trash can.
Holy shit.
Because I cut much thinner, littler strips than what you guys do. So
yeah. The strips that I have from the last LC200N test I did yesterday are so freaking fine and thin because I was going so slow with it, trying to not eat into my cardboard as much as I could. I was trying to take my time because I wasn't recording or anything. It was just for fun, for results for Brian. And between trying to do that and then the geometry of that knife, they're so thin. It looks like I cut like 60 feet of cardboard, but really it's like almost 300 feet because the pile's so small. It's cool.
I live out in the sticks of Georgia. I burn it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I have a big fire pit. I dump it all in there and light it on fire.
That's a great idea.
That's double.
I give it back to Mother Earth.
My trash guys probably hate me because I put it in a garbage bag or something. Now I'm starting to get boxes. I'm gonna get boxes and throw it in the boxes and then take the boxes out instead of paying for garbage bags.
Wait,
You're
so
so
where
cheap.
Where do I get my cardboard from?
Yeah.
Work.
Oh, okay.
So any of the shipping boxes and stuff we get in, I look for a certain type of cardboard. It's got to be about the same thickness. It's got to be about the same consistency. I try and keep it as perfect as possible. I get made fun of for it all the time. Well, why are you grabbing that? Why are you taking this cardboard but not that cardboard? I'm like, because it doesn't fit. It's not what I need.
So do you just stockpile all those boxes and then use them all at once?
Yeah. So what I do at work is I break them down into the strips that I want that are easy to test with, and then I just take those strips home and leave everything else I don't want at work where they bale it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been thinking of doing tests sort of like you guys, not for a YouTube thing or anything, but just because. So I do my own tests for myself, right? Just so I can confirm that my knives are working as intended.
Yeah, definitely.
But I was curious how they stack up to other knives that you tested. So I feel like if I did the same testing methodology, then I could compare to knives you've already tested instead of having to test everything I've already done myself.
Yeah. See, I think we all test on the same sort of cardboard. It's just double wall cardboard, not like the triple wall stuff. I do have some of that stuff here too, but it's all double wall, and I cut against the grain. I think you two guys cut width, right?
I actually didn't experiment with it.
I'm going to, Steve. That's why I got that triple wall shit.
Well, no, triple wall is different than cutting against the grain with double wall.
So you're telling me I got like giant sheets of cardboard sitting here for nothing?
For nothing. There's two different things. So
God
here's the
damn
thing: when you have double wall cardboard, right? Because I had this conversation with Max. You have double wall cardboard. What the thought process is if you take this middle layer and you stretch it out, you're going to be cutting more material, right? Which is true. Instead of cutting with the grain this way, right?
Yeah.
The thing is though is what you're cutting extra material, but the only extra material you're cutting going this way against the grain versus with the grain is that very, very thin fluted middle area. So I took my 154 cm backman and I cut with the grain and then against the grain, and I got identical results. Because when you're passing it through here, it is technically more material, but how thin that fluting is, it's not the same as the walls. The liners, they call these the liners. The liners are much thicker than the fluting. The fluting is meant to compress. It's meant to be very thin, and it's a different type. It's a different consistency. So it's meant to compress like this, like a shock absorbing, like that. So you're not. If you want to cut against the grain or with the grain, you're going to get the same results as long as it's double wall. If you use triple wall, now you have another liner.
Yeah.
Which is this part. So you're actually cutting more material. You're cutting 33% more material than if you were using double wall.
See, that's where I always found it interesting the people that argue that they were different, because we cut differently and we almost always get like the exact same results.
Well, that's why. Somebody was saying something, and Max had said something. Max was like, well, I think it's more. And I'm like, all right, well, let me just try it. 154 cm, really easy to sharpen, so I sharpened it real quick, cut with it, sharpened it, and cut with it, and I got within like 3 feet of each other. So it was the same. It was like 125 and 128 or something like that. So it is technically more material, but the density of that material and how much extra, you know what I mean? Like if you pancake this out, this fluted area, you would get, let's say, an extra 1 inch of middle material for every 1 foot you cut.
Yeah.
That added up over the course of 100 feet would come out to an extra, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have an extra 15 inches of just that middle, not of actual full fiberboard. Sorry, fiberboard.
Corrugated fiberboard.
Yeah, for the Fair and Ford sisters. Corrugated, ASTM certified corrugated fiberboard. Sorry.
Speaking of custom knives, did you guys see my new Arius?
I
Not
did.
Arius.
Yeah.
It's a mini goblin, right?
Goblin. Yeah. The Arius coming back too.
What?
You sound like a robot.
Yeah, what are you doing? Why are you all choppy, bro? What do you have? We have a flip phone?
The very first style 57.
Oh no, that knife deserves better.
It does.
It does. To your room?
I'm on my phone, man.
What do you have? A Nokia? Is it
What? Hold on.
Dude, his is so bad, he's on dial-up.
You know what? I'm gonna switch my computer. I'll be back.
Okay.
All right, we'll be waiting.
He's on dial-up and he just got a phone call.
Yeah, he's got a phone call. Someone just picked him off. While he was on dial. What kind of grinder you got, Brian? A 2x72?
Yes, I have a 2x72 KMG10. It's by Beaumont Metalworks.
Oh! That's a nice grinder.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. I got the wheel and I got the platen. So
those platens are like dead flat.
yeah, and I got an attachment ceramic. Oh, what's it called? Pyro something. You know the glass? It's like not glass, but it's glass.
Wait, you said pyro? Does it spit fire and play rock music while you cut?
No, I don't know what it's called actually. I totally forgot. It was such a long time ago I bought it, but it's basically like flatter than the steel because it doesn't dish out.
Because it's ceramic.
Right. So and it generates less friction, so it doesn't heat up as quickly, so you don't burn your shit all the time.
Rock and roll. I like that.
So that's good. But yeah, it's honestly, thank you to my mom. But yeah, I was like, I need to get this one.
Like this needs to happen right now. Like this is I'm not getting no shitty 1x30. I need this one. I need the best one I can get.
I mean, that's my attitude. You know, I genuinely believe in buy once, cry once.
Heard.
Because, like, the thing is, like, I've never had something that I buy that is, like, nice and quality ever disappoint me and make me, like, you know? So it's like, and it's the same with knives, right? Like,
I did.
I went, I went from a Leak as my first knife to a Sebenza in a month.
Jesus.
I was like, the Leak is good, and then I was like, oh, the Benchmade 943 is good, and I was like, but I'm sure there's something better, so, yeah.
Here's Brian's progression in 30 days.
It was a little less than 30 days, actually, but I just say 3 because it's like a month.
I also made this was the first knife that wasn't a Swiss Army knife, right, that I carried every day, right? I also made this progression, as you can see right here.
Yeah.
Mine took 7 years, so we're just gonna right there. This is 8. No, I'm sorry, almost 9. No, 8 or 9. I carried this knife literally every day for 7 years or so.
You know it's OG because it's still tipped down.
Oh yeah, I didn't know you could change that. I didn't know you could change it. I didn't know it was any different. Yeah, because I back pocket carry. I've always back pocket carried.
Right.
This knife, because I'm a chef, right? So this knife has been in my back pocket in thousands of hot services. Sweaty, hot service. Still works. Original spring. This thing, the spring on it is so shot from the clip. If I were to run, it used to fall out of my pocket all the time. This thing's falling out of my pocket, or off the top of I used to smoke, and I would stick it like my cigarettes and everything on the top of the car, and a lot of times I would drive away and forget, and everything would go flying. This thing got ran over by a garbage truck once on concrete. Yeah, this thing is like all the look. It's like silver at the top. Look.
Damn, that's worn out.
Straight worn out. Still working.
Hey, how durable though that coating is.
Hella durable. This thing is. I've taken the tip off this knife probably 8 times. I had an apartment that the door used to like self-lock, like the bottom lock. I have used this tip to pry open that bottom lock like 6 times. And every time, this is a lot shorter than your standard one, I think. And I would do it, and a lot of times it would bust a tip, and then I'd have like a snub nose, and I'd reprofile it, snub nose. Yeah.
Pretty soon you're gonna end up like this.
Exactly. For real.
Hang on, did Gerald get to see what happened to the bishop?
No, Gerald did not get to see what happened to Bishop.
You gotta show him, Brian. Show him the original blade, and then show him what you did.
Oh, okay. So this is a wee bishop.
Full blade.
Right? And this is a little beak. It also has a sheath, right? This plastic sheath. Whoop. It's perfectly.
That's so
Very
awesome.
Very safe, non-threatening.
It looks better.
That is the OG, right? That's like the ultimate box cutter. You just flip that little thing open.
This knife right here, by the way.
Oh,
this
the
is a great knife, guys.
You like it?
I love it, man. It's like, here's me trying not to deploy it. Let's see if I can not. See, I can't even do it. Because that flat detent ball, like, that's as close as I can get.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, this knife, and it's like, I forgot, I put it on my review, I weighed it on one of my reviews, but it was super light, like 2-point-something ounces for like a nice, good medium-sized knife.
That's awesome.
Yeah, these guys really know what the 1 year waiting was kind of shitty though.
Yeah. So
They're also Canadian, so
that has that flat detent ball you said?
Yeah, just like the Grimsmo Norseman.
And like the Spectre. The Spectre has that too.
Does it?
It does. It has like this really like mechanical, like clicky opening. Super cool. By the way, I saw you commented on my cut test for it about you wish I would have showed off the action a little bit more.
Yeah.
A review is coming.
Oh, okay.
So that's where all the flippy stuff's coming on with all the drop shot action.
Nice. And then they also do a CNC cut on the blade.
I know, it's so cool. What were you saying, Steve?
Boo! Boo! CNC cut. Grind it, motherfucker! Grind it!
Grind this.
What were you saying, Steve? What was it about something about the Spectre?
No, I was just gonna say. So these you talking about that plateau style detent?
Yeah.
Can we all agree that ceramic detent balls should be standard and just get away from metal detent balls, please?
Actually, I love that flat detent metal ball is great, man. Dude.
How hard are they though? Because I have a few knives that have flattened that the action isn't good anymore because the detent ball has now been worn.
Well, I had one. I had the version 1 before in a G10 version. I had that knife for like a year and a half and never had a problem, never felt any different. It performed perfectly. And then, being that it's a flat detent ball, like I'm really flinging it and I'm holding it backwards to try to get the freaking blade to come out. It's not. It's like so secure, but yet it works perfect. The Mini Goblin, however, I can wrist flick that no problem.
That's operator.
Operator.
Even though it's got a good detent to it, like it's not like this thing will ever open up. But if I actually like keep my finger off the lock bar and flick it, operator.
Operator, bro. You're operator, man.
Yes.
All right, guys.
There is no knife that opens easier than a freaking Microtech SOCOM. I'll tell you that. Like that, just like you breathe on that thing and it just.
Especially with yours with no detent.
Yeah,
mine got fixed.
All right, guys. I'm gonna have to get going because I gotta eat and we gotta get to bed. As always, we started this an hour and 15 minutes late.
Squish, 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 squish.
That's fine.
Dude, it's like 7:30 where you are, Tom.
It is 8:30. Anyhow, I can leave this up. Leave this up, and I'll just mute my portion of it. And you guys just text me when the episode's over, if you guys want to do that.
You want to just call this the geriatrics talk?
Yeah, I'll let all you elderly guys talk from your nursing homes.
Says the guy who's about to go to bed before the sun's down.
Listen, that's not my call. I don't gotta be up early.
That's your girl's call.
Yes, she wakes up early.
Wow.
Why don't you go away, Tom, and have your girl come on the podcast?
Okay.
Have the real man show up. Let's talk to her. She
that picks the knives, you know?
Yep, here it is for like the 4th week in a row.
Have her come over here. Have her put her up. We want to talk to her.
Maybe next week.
She's the one that makes all the decisions. Put her up.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week.
Ask her first. Don't tell us next week. You ask her what time.
No.
She make.
We need to do the bets.
Oh yeah, the bets. So we want to make bets on the HRC of this LC200N fixed blade. So let me disclose what the cutting tests were. So I know I already said it early on in the podcast, but it is 0.07 inch stock thickness, 9 thousandths behind the edge at 13 degrees per side. It cut like 281 for the first test and like 288 or 286 for the second test. It was like less than 2% difference. So what do you guys? What
62.
Oh wait, and you should also say it was supposed to be 63.
It was supposed to be 63.
Oh, I said 62.
What does it mean it's 63? With LC200N, I guess, according to Triple B and anyone else who's looked into LC200N, like 62 is like max. Like absolute max. What do you think, Steve?
61.
61? What do you think, G?
I'm with Steve. I'm at 61.
I'm guessing 60. I think the geometry carried it a little bit on some of that cutting.
Not on cardboard. Well, what's the edge angle?
13.
Oh, it could even be lower than that. That's significant. 13 degrees per side.
Yes.
That thing could be at 59 and probably like I know what LC200N from Spyderco at 58 will do, and it's not that far off from what you just got. So I don't know. 13. That's really low. That's a
I'm
very.
gonna stick with 62.
I'm going 61. I'm saying with 61.
Okay.
Final answer.
What are we including viewers on this, Brian? I can't remember.
I'm sure if you want. I mean, it's just fun. I don't know either, so we're gonna find out.
Yeah, no one knows. It's getting tested this week. So any of you guys that are watching right now, you can go ahead and put that in the Twitch chat. I'll take a screenshot, and then as far as that goes, I'll put a picture of the knife up on the Sharp Talk Instagram for anyone else later, and I'll probably repost it on my own Instagram as well, and have you guys guess there. So anyone who gets it out or gets it correct, I'll give a shout out to, or whatever you guys want. Maybe a giveaway of some sort.
Ooh, whatever I want.
Whatever you want, G.
Ooh.
You
I don't
want
know.
some-
You can get in trouble.
He wants to.
Jesus.
Low G's.
BJ says 61 and a half. Atomic Edge says 60 and a half.
Look at BJ and Max doing like the Price is Right. I'll take $1, sir. You just 61 and a half.
So let me disclose something now that everyone's kind of got their bets in. I know a scratch test isn't a perfect science, but my Crewwear Mannix that Jared, you said most of these have come in at like what, between 61 and 62, the newer ones.
Yeah.
I could scratch it with that, just barely, and I had something in S30V from Benchmade, which is supposed to be 58 to 60, and it didn't scratch it.
Well, here's the thing, though. You're also talking. All right, so those scratch tests, when you use something that has carbide in it, can alter it.
Yes.
So you can, if you have something like LC200N that's got nitrides and doesn't really have any carbides in it. You take something like Crewwear that has some vanadium carbide and it does scratch it. It depends on what it looks like. I learned this through my own trial and error. It can throw it off a little bit. So you can.
You know what I say to all that? I have one thing to say to all that.
What?
Squish, 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 squish.
All right.
Squish,
All right.
squish, 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 squish.
That's like the customary ending to any of our podcasts now. Can our...
Squish.
We need stickers that say operator and another one with your hands like that say squish squish.
Yes.
That needs to be our merch line.
This needs to be Tom's new page logo. Right here. That's what it needs to be.
Whatever. Anyhow.
Hey, whatever. It runs your life, bro. Don't
It
whatever.
would literally be a legend if you change your name to Squish Squish Outdoors.
Yes. See, the man knows.
Right.
Maybe if I have enough free time, I'll mock up a logo for that.
Can we vote Tom off and keep Ryan?
That's fine. That's fine. Brian knows more about the technical side of all this than I do, about the recording and everything. He's helped me with the Discord stuff, and I still can't fucking figure it out.
Just
that wasn't me. That wasn't me. I don't know anything.
No, I think that was you and Harkwit.
It was. I think it was.
Brian's an upgraded Tom. Hurry. All right, Tom, you can vote it off the island.
That's fine. All right. Do you guys want to continue going, or do you just want to end when I'm getting off?
I'm in for whatever.
I don't care. You guys make the call.
All in favor of staying on?
Am I voting?
Go for it.
I mean, sure. I don't know.
That's
if you
two.
have a topic you want to talk about.
Because I'll just mute myself, and you guys got to end it. But you got to shout out Brian at the end of the episode.
You gotta shout out Brian at the end of the episode. We know how to shout out Brian. Alex always shouts out the guest, Tom.
Well,
Tom.
yeah, because he normally gets a hold of the guest, Steve.
Oh shit, Tom. You're supposed to be the one running the show, Tom.
So we ending this, or are you guys gonna stay on for a little while longer?
I don't even know you anymore.
That's all right.
Since I was on my operator class, I didn't arrange it, but I'm glad because we got a chance to get Brian on.
Definitely.
And next week we'll have I'll get Levon from Knife Nuts podcast.
That'll be a fun one.
It is, but hopefully he's cool.
I'm sure he's cool, man. He sounds pretty funny on their podcast, so should be
Cool as Brian?
Huh?
Yeah, I thought. That's what I thought.
He's not as cool as Brian.
He doesn't make knives, man. That's an automatic disqualifier. But,
Exactly.
But then neither do I. So
Like, you're kind of meh following up that last one, so.
Yep.
I don't make knives either, though. But I am an operator.
You are an operator. Different story. Whole different ballgame.
Yes.
It's okay.
So what I mean by that is sell all your knives, guys, and buy guns.
Or sell all your knives and start making knives like Brian did.
Exactly.
Or that. I'm about to sell both of my SOCOM and my other Marfioni to send my 1911 to Wilson Combat.
That'll be cool.
I'm gonna be left with like 3 knives.
All right, boys.
Ooh.
We ending this. You staying on it?
Oh, well, I guess we can end because I have to walk my dogs eventually.
There you go. Speaking of that, one last shout out because Brian has the coolest damn Maker's Mark. I love it. I know it's not on my knife, but you guys should check out his Instagram. You said it was like @transparent knives, I believe.
I think it's transparent_knives.
Okay. Because he's got a super awesome pricing system where he's like, according to his name, it's all very transparent. He shows you exactly what the cost is, like what goes into everything, and what your price is. It's really, really cool.
Wait, hold on, wait. You're not the Asian dude that makes the glass knives on YouTube? Oh, whole time I thought, you don't make the smoke knives? You're not that guy?
No.
It's not transparent. You were the dude that made the settle. Ah, I've been under the assumption the whole time.
But you guys should definitely check him out on Instagram and check out his work there. Is that the best place they can get a hold of you, Brian, or is there somewhere else that they should get a hold of you?
Oh, you know the best place to get me is on Discord, dude.
Discord, the Knife Club Discord. Do you have an email too that they could probably get a hold of you?
Oh yeah, transparentknives@gmail.com.
Awesome. So
Yep.
he works with a lot of cool stuff, does a lot of cool knives, and you guys should definitely check him out. What were you gonna say there, Brian?
Oh no, I was saying everything's pretty much just transparent knives at whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
The media.
So it should be pretty easy to find him. Like I said earlier in the episode, I will put his Instagram handle down in the description of the podcast as well as in the YouTube description so you guys can find it a little bit easier. Thank you, Brian, for being on. I know this was a little bit of a dysfunctional episode here at the very beginning, and then all of a sudden it turned into a full-on episode.
Yeah, man, it was my pleasure, actually. It was a lot of fun.
We definitely want to have you back, and it was awesome having you on. So
Meet Brian on again.
yes, Brian can replace me next week.
Hey, bro,
Yeah,
hey,
forever. How about forever?
But I'm gonna give him my Skype login so he comes up as Tom. You guys have to refer to him as Tom, but he's just improved Tom.
but he doesn't have the curly fro like Tom.
That is true. You guys can't see it
Yeah.
anyhow because my camera's broken. So
Yes. I'll hit you up, Brian. I know you're local now.
Yeah, anytime, dude. If you want to check out the workshop or even make something, I mean, I have
Sweet.
people visit every now and then, so.
Very cool. Very cool. Sounds
Brian was joking when he says he likes to break shit. Well, we'll make some shit. Yeah, okay.
all right.
Okay, sports knives.
All right, guys. If you guys have tuned in during the live stream for this, I couldn't believe that it was going to be our most dysfunctional episode yet. But we've had a lot of people in here, so thank you for everyone in the Twitch chat, and for everyone watching or listening in the future. Thank you for
What up,
watching
BJ?
or listening.
Hey, BJ!
Yes, BJ. And we'll see you guys next week.
All right, bye, guys.
See ya.